Live from Ball State University, news for the campus community and all of Delaware County. This is NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and welcome to NewsLink. I'm Joshua Smith.
And I'm Craig Collins. People were celebrating in Washington State for a new law which became effective at midnight. But what some might find surprising are the limitations set in place by the new legislation. Recreational marijuana use was legalized last night at the Space Needle. However, adults can only have up to an ounce, and growing pot is still a crime in Washington. Washington is the first state to legalize recreational pot. In Colorado, a similar law could go into effect. The governor has just a month to sign into the law.
And since those two states have voted to legalize marijuana, other states are contemplating their stance on the drug, including Indiana. NewsLink Indiana's Sarah Finney talks to two people who use the drug and one who searches for it.
One hit gives this Ball State couple a high. A high, they say, lasts 2 hours.
When you're smoking, you're just like content with where you are and you don't have that need to really do something sporadic.
They don't want us to use their real names, so we'll just call them Jane and John Doe. Jane has been smoking for 2.5 years, John about 3. He says he does it pretty much every day, but the amount varies.
At least enough to get me by.
John says sometimes he worries about getting caught with marijuana, but if Indiana follows the path of Washington State and Colorado, he may not have to worry for much longer. University Police Department Chief Gene Burden says he sees the attitude shifting in Indiana toward legalization or decriminalization of the drug.
Can I see it? Yes, because I've seen it coming down the road that our legislators and our lawmakers are at least going to look at that subject.
Burden is referring to comments made by State Police Superintendent Paul Weitzel last Tuesday. Weitzel said he would legalize and tax marijuana if the decision were up to him. Burden's also talking about Republican State Senator Brent Steele and Democratic State Senator Karen Tallian's proposed legislation last year that would have decriminalized small amounts of the drug. Steele said in September that he plans to reintroduce the legislation this session. Burden estimates that UPD spends less than 5% of its time on cases related to marijuana. He said they instead focus on students' drug of choice, alcohol. According to UPD's 2012 campus security report, the total number of alcohol abuse on campus and on public property was almost double the amount of drug abuse violations. But if the drug becomes decriminalized or legalized, Burden hopes lawmakers are very cautious.
I think there better be a lot of research done into it.
Burden says if it was allowed, UPD may see an upswing in impaired drivers. But legal or not, it won't stop the does from lighting up. However, John thinks the conservative nature of the state will make changes slower.
The fact that we are Indiana, though, makes me think that we'd be like one of the last states to get in line if this thing sort of had domino effect.
Colorado's law is set to take effect on January 5th. In Muncie, Sarah Finney, NewsLink, Indiana.
And a recent national poll by Public Policy Polling showed that 58% of Americans support legalization, but 39% think that it should still be illegal.
A campaign called Trust Local was started by the Indiana Conference of Mayors to influence lawmakers that specific issues should stay in the hands of local leaders. The campaign will focus on 3 issues during the upcoming legislative session, dealing with wanting gas tax user fee revenues that will pay for street and road improvements, having local governments enforcement powers to make sure banks maintain foreclosure properties. They also are requiring doctors' prescriptions to purchase drugs containing pseudoephedrine, which is an important ingredient in the methamphetamine production.
Motorists traveling through Muncie are more than likely to get stopped at a train crossing. This can mean extended travel times throughout the city. Nick Matson has more on how increased speeds may help with this problem.
Ordinance for trains traveling through the city of Muncie is 40 miles per hour, but according to Mayor Dennis Tyler, they may not stand from a federal level for long.
Type of local laws, federal regulations and laws always override and overregulate anything at the local level, and we understood that.
Large increase in speeds being discussed to be put in place starting January 1st. Safety is important. A new set of programs would need to be implemented to teach residents about the dangers of these speeds.
That would require some sort of very aggressive public awareness program if you're going to increase speeds of trains that magnitude.
A spokeswoman for CBX says that the speeds will allow for reduced wait times for motorists at the crossings and improve the efficiency of rail operation. residents, but Mayor Tyler isn't so sure.
Create some serious unrest for them too.
Groups plan to meet in person as soon as each party's schedules will allow, but have been in contact by phone. In Muncie, Nick Madsen, NewsLink, Indiana.
The speed increases will affect crossings located at Tillotson, State Road 32, and Walnut Street, among others.
'Tis the season to start your decorating. One local Muncie organization can help get your house ready for the holidays. Katie Hargett is live downtown with more.
The Muncie Kiwanis Club has sold Christmas trees on the corner of Weiser and High Streets for more than 60 years. Some Muncie residents have even made it part of their own Christmas tradition.
The Kiwanis Club of Muncie raises money for children across Indiana throughout the year. During the holiday season, they sell Christmas trees to benefit the youth of Delaware County. Charles Weaver is the lot manager. He's seen trees this year go faster than ever before.
We had big mounds of trees back there, and a lot of them are gone already. So if we would have a good weekend, we'll be out of a lot of trees.
Waylon Collins, a Delaware County police officer, enjoys the convenience the location of the tree stand provides.
It's close to work. That, and it's been here for years that I remember as a kid. I always remember trees being here. So.
Tradition is one part of buying a Christmas tree, but Collins thinks giving back to others is what this season is truly about.
I always like to see the money go to charity and benefits wherever wherever it needs. This is obviously a good organization that gives charity to the needy, and I like that.
Now, from this Christmas tree stand will go directly towards getting glasses for students in Delaware County schools that can't afford them on their own. Live in downtown Muncie, Katie Hargett, NewsLink, Indiana.
The Kiwanis Club has raised more than $500,000 for organizations across Indiana. If you want to find out more about volunteering or donating, visit the Kiwanis building located downtown Muncie at 198 Weiser Street. And you know, earlier on this week, it didn't feel like it was quite time for Christmas, but now it's starting to cool off a little bit, Josh.
You're right. Let's see what Pat has to say about this cold front. Pat?
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. Take a look at your weather right now in Muncie, Indiana. We are looking at 43 degrees, a little bit of a wind chill. It feels like 39 degrees. Coming up this week, we're going to get some rain in the forecast. We'll tell you when to expect that. It's going to clear up near the end of the week, though. The temperatures along with that will drop. Back to you guys.
And with finals week coming up, many students are forced to find a place to buckle down and cram for the last test of the semester. But there could be a bright side to that. Brian Hickman has the story.
It's the end of the year, and with that comes a lot of good things. Vacation time with the family, Christmas presents, and of course New Year's. But also finals week, that last hump we have to get over before the holidays. But for local businesses, finals week could actually be a good thing.
Sometimes I go out to study because I'm hungry and I feel like I need fuel, but if I'm going to go sit in a public place, I think it's important to pay them money to use their space, and especially at a place like the Cup or a local coffee shop or local business, it's important to support them. They're in a college town, they're expecting people to come and study, and so buy something. So I'll come here, I have gone to Starbucks, also on campus or friends' houses, but for me it's mostly about not being in the same place staring at my computer.
So if you're tired of spending all those late hours in Bracken Library, check out the Ball State Village for a nice cup of coffee and a great place to study. In Muncie, Brian Hickman, NewsLink, Indiana.
And for those who are also looking to support local businesses, the Cup is just one of many located in the Ball State Village.
President Obama is making assurances to some Americans about their future tax rates.
Also up next, find out what drew police to the Michigan State Capitol building.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
With the approaching fiscal cliff, President Barack Obama and Congress have until the end of the year to somehow avert across-the-board spending cuts and tax increases. Visiting the Department of Family in Virginia, Obama said Americans are counting on this getting solved. He is warning he will let the spending cuts and tax increases take effect if Republicans don't drop their opposition to higher tax rates for the wealthy. He vowed to not sign any package unless it includes an increase in the tax rate for the top 2% of American earners.
And Michigan's state capitol building went into lockdown mode Thursday afternoon when protesters rallying against right-to-work legislation swarmed the building. Michigan Governor Rick Snyder is seeking right-to-work status for the state, prompting thousands to head to the Capitol building in Lansing to voice their opinions. Michigan State Police say they arrested 8 people who tried to rush the state Senate chambers and used pepper spray on some protesters outside the Capitol. Protesters believe the legislation is anti-union.
Now time for a look at the headlines.
In a town with such poverty and just seeing all that around you as far as violence, drugs, and whatnot, growing up around football just really humbles you. Humbles you just to want to do better, and it just motivates you really.
In Muncie, Chris Rankel, NewsLink, Indiana.
And Ball State will play Central Florida on December 21st. However, one Cardinal is up for a prestigious honor. Josh Blessing will have more when we get to sports. Coming up, we'll take a look at weather and whether or not our warmer temperatures will continue through the weekend.
We'll have your 5-day forecast after the break.
2 outs with a runner on first base.
This is NewsLink Indiana.
Well, earlier this week, it felt like it was a little bit like spring, but the cold air is on its way.
Well, let's see if winter's finally here. Pat, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, what I can tell you is that the cold weather is coming. Are we actually going to get to winter? I don't know. We've had a lot of warm-ups throughout the past couple months. Take a look at your satellite radar here as you see the precipitation coming in. This is going to hit Muncie here in just a moment, coming up into tomorrow. And we'll talk more about that later. Here with your current temperatures around the U.S., we'll take a closer look into the state of Indiana as you see we were at 43 degrees in Muncie, 46 in Indianapolis, getting it down to 47 in Bloomington, mostly in the 40s throughout the state. Tonight we're going to get down to 28 degrees, partly cloudy, a little bit of a breeze in there as well. And tomorrow, well, you're going to need the rain jacket, that's for sure. A lot of rain in the forecast. We'll hit 51 degrees, so that's the good news. The temperatures aren't going to be too low, but you will need the umbrella tomorrow. Let's take a look here at the 7-day forecast. Earlier in the week, as we will see the rain in the forecast, 52's your high on Friday, 48 on Saturday. You're really going to need that umbrella, guys, until Monday. Then on Tuesday, it starts clearing up, but right when that happens, we get to colder temperatures. We're going to see freezing temperatures throughout most of Tuesday. It heats up a little bit on Wednesday, where we will have sunny skies, and on Thursday, it'll be sunny as well, a high of 40. So, guys, a lot of rain coming up in your forecast, and then when it goes away, it starts to get cold. Back to you.
Well, there's a new face with the Ball State women's basketball team.
Find out who it is and what's happening with the team tonight after we return from the break.
Afternoon, the women's team will host Northern Kentucky. The key player is Natalie Fontaine, a Sweden transfer, and she's a freshman, so that's pretty impressive, being a freshman coming in, averaging about 12 points per game, so she's really helping out her Cardinal team.
Definitely, she is seemingly playing well, so it'll be interesting to watch that on Saturday.
Well, guys, we're all familiar with making prank phone calls here, but find out who was the subject of the latest trick from an Australian radio host.
And the holidays are right around the corner. Find out how Ball State students are spreading the holiday cheer.
A meal while there.
And some of them, that's their meal for the evening. They don't go home and get any food, so it's really essential for them to go. So.
How many kill?
Well, thanks, David. That was a great look at entertainment.
Definitely, and now let's look at the weather one last time, Pat.
Yeah, guys, well, like I was saying earlier, the weather, at least in terms of the temperature, it's not going to be too bad the next few days. We're going to stay in the 50s. Monday's where we really start getting colder. The sun does come out at the end of the week, but Craig, you're going to need your fur jacket.
Definitely, I'll have to break out the fur. I mean, it's always a great time of year to do that, too. I love when that time of the year comes around.
It sure is.
And also, here we have some breaking news on the Ray Guy Award.
Yeah, the Ray Guy Award, the winner goes to Louisiana Tech. It's unfortunate Scott Cavana did not win, but he had a remarkable season, so congrats to him.
Another great year for another great Ball State punter, the line of Ball State punters.
Well, that's all for tonight for NewsLink Indiana. We'll be back in January right here on Cardinal Vision.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a good night and happy holidays.